Hey everyone, I'm Jim Rohn, and today we're diving into one of the most confusing questions in love. Does the avoidant partner actually love you? And if they do, does that love look like? If you've ever felt like you're loving a ghost stone moment, they're all in. The next they're gone cold, you're not crazy. And you're not too sensitive. You're probably loving someone with an avoidant attachment style. Someone who does love but in silence, with armor, and often in ways that don't look anything like the love you're used to. Maybe they don't say, "I love you," but they check your car every morning. They don't text you constantly, but they remember your doctor's appointment. They shy away from emotional talks, but they fix your broken faucet without you asking twice. That is love, it's just being spoken in a different language. In this video, I'm going to help you translate that language. I'll walk you through how to recognize those small but powerful gestures and, more importantly, how to love them back without losing yourself in the process. If this resonates with you, hit subscribe right now. This channel is your space to learn secure, boundary-driven, self-respecting love. And trust me, what you learn today could change the way you love and the way you're loved. Stay with me till the end. Clarity is coming. Deep within an avoidant attachment style lies a truth that few people recognize. They do love, just in a very different language. You might perceive them as cold, detached, or emotionally distant. They might stay silent when you need them to be present or retreat just as you're craving closeness. But the truth is, they love you, just might be listening for a language they don't naturally speak. For avoidantly attached individuals, love isn't expressed through passionate words or grand gestures. It comes through steady presence, thoughtful acts, and preserving emotional space, not overwhelming it. They express love by respecting your boundaries, remembering your routines, preparing your coffee just the way you like it, or quietly fixing small things that matter to you. These actions, though subtle or loud declarations of care, just expressed in a quieter dialect. If you only listen with your ears, you'll miss the love they communicate with their hands, their habits, their silence. The root of this guardedness doesn't lie with you, it lies within them. Many avoidant partners were raised in emotionally inconsistent environments. They've experienced rejection, disappointment, or emotional neglect. To cope, they built strong defense systems, independence as armor, distance as safety. While those mechanisms protect them, they also create confusion in their relationships because that independence can feel like abandonment to someone craving intimacy. But here's what's crucial. They're not pushing you out. They're protecting themselves from being consumed. When you ask, "Do you love me?" and they go quiet, it's often not because they don't, it's because they're afraid that saying it might pull them too deep, too fast, too far from themselves. That's where your self-worth comes in. You don't need to chase or shrink to fit. You hold steady. You say, "I understand closeness can feel overwhelming. I respect your space. But I also need to feel loved in your actions, in your presence, in your consistency." This isn't settling. This is clarity. You're not enduring coldness, you're choosing to understand. You're not abandoning yourself, you're staying grounded. And from that clarity, you create something safe, something real, not forced intimacy, but earned trust, not dependency, but mutual respect. Here's the invitation you extend. Show me you care in the way you can. Let's build connection in your language and mine. And when that invitation is paired with calm consistency, not pressure, it becomes a bridge. Slowly, steadily, they begin to cross. Not because you pulled, but because you stayed. So, rather than measure love in verbal affection, look for this. Do they show up when you're overwhelmed? Do they remember what makes you smile? Do they quietly support you when life gets hard? These aren't oversights. These are their way of saying, "I'm here, I care." When you understand that and match their pace while honoring your own needs, you don't just maintain a relationship, you grow through it. You don't love to change them, but to create a space where both of you can be your full selves. In that space, love isn't avoidance, it becomes courage. It's not silence, it becomes understanding. It's not suppression, it becomes a rhythm where intimacy can unfold gently, honestly, and at a pace both hearts can hold. When an avoidant partner withdraws, don't jump to the conclusion that they don't love you anymore or are rejecting you. In reality, it's often an unconscious responsive protective reflex from their inner emotional system when closeness begins to feel too near or too deep. They need to maintain a certain distance to feel emotionally safe. This doesn't mean they're devoid of affection. Instead, they care, but don't know how to express it in the way you expect. Imagine someone who loves you, yet only dares to show it through distant glances, small caring gestures, and only when they feel free. The emotional distance you feel isn't abandonment, it's their necessary breathing space. Each moment of silence is not a dismissal, but a moment of internal recalibration. They're attempting to balance wanting to connect with fearing loss of themselves. Accepting their independence doesn't mean tolerating detachment, it means choosing a new way to respond. Empathy over blame. When you realize their independence is their way of self-expression and self-protection, the sting begins to fade. Instead of asking, "Why don't they say I love you?" you start wondering, how are they protecting themselves today? You no longer feel wounded, you feel curious. That brings us to a perspective shift. Change your lens from, "Why are they hurting me?" to, "What are they experiencing inside?" Approaching with compassion and curiosity builds bridges, not walls. Conversations begin not to argue, but to connect. "I've noticed some distance today. Are you feeling overwhelmed? I don't need promises, just want to understand." By listening without rebuttal, you maintain your integrity as you do not collapse into pleading or resignation. You remain grounded. Your curiosity creates the safe space where an avoidant partner can show up. This is not emotional manipulation, it's co-creating emotional safety through mutual respect. When you say something like, "I sense you're holding back. What could help you feel safe here?" you honor their need for space and offer an invitation to closeness, not pressure, not persuasion, just invitation. From this place, doors to gentle connection open, because when avoidants feel that closeness is safe to choose, not forced, they can begin to respond. Their love doesn't need affirmation. Sit finds a way in through shared moments, a concerned look, a thoughtful gesture, a question asked, a small shift in tone. If you're seeking a crack in the wall of their distance, remember, you don't need a hammer, you need light. Bridges aren't built by force, but with respect, self-respect, and genuine curiosity. You don't become the over-accommodator, but someone who invites presence without apologizing for wanting to belong. Now, having built that foundation of understanding through curiosity and respect, you can begin to read the love language the avoidant partner is speaking. It's not in flowery declarations, it's in the quiet, everyday actions that seed deep affection. It might be that they take the time each morning to make you a cup of coffee so your mood stays steady. Or they quietly fix your machine, your room light, that loose handle without making a big deal out of it. They remember little details of what you like without needing a reminder. These are subtle, but powerful signs of love, steady, reliable, and profoundly caring. You can miss them if you're not paying attention. But if you choose to see them, with a heart that's learned respect, you'll feel their affection speaking. Softly, but undeniable. For an avoidant partner, actions speak louder than words. Declarations can be triggering, but gestures anchored in routine feel safe and authentic. When you see them, say thank you and honor those small acts. You perform a quiet miracle. You show them, your way of loving me matters. And that doesn't mean sacrificing yourself, nor does it make them feel trapped. But noticing actions is only the start. You then need patience and consistency, the fertile ground where this new form of connection can grow. This isn't about waiting for them to change. It's about patiently nurturing a secure emotional ecosystem where they can choose to show up gradually. When you maintain emotional consistency, not overreacting when they pull away, avoiding pushing the relationship forward too quickly, you're laying down trust. That trust emerges from your steady presence, calming conversation when they're stressed, a small gift when they achieve something meaningful, or a soft hug just when they need it. It's all unspoken reassurance. I am here, I'm predictable, and I respect our space. Consistent daily check-in texts about mundane things tell them, yes, I'm still here, reliably. Small face-to-face conversation 7 if superficial say, we can coexist without pressure. And respecting their need for autonomy, neither prying nor drifting, tells them, I understand and honor who you are. By weaving this tapestry of consistency, you remove tension around intimacy. They no longer suspect that your closeness demands something from them. They begin to sense, they're not expecting me to change, I can meet them on my own terms. They may approach hesitantly, but with depth. The distance shrinks not through force, but through attuned resonance. And from that steady ground, your relationship gains sustainable momentum. Your words don't have to be grand. Your acts don't need to be excessive. Just persist. Persist kindly and with boundaries. You stay strong not as a chaser, but as someone centered and sensitive, and not shutting your heart, but honoring your own value. Now that you have built a foundation of understanding, patience, and consistency, it is time to set boundaries and keep balance. Not because you are becoming cold or indifferent, but because when loving someone with an avoidant attachment, you must preserve your self-respect and offer them the freedom to return at their own pace. Boundaries define what you will and won't do emotionally, in time, or in personal limits. They could mean refusing to take on all their stress, saying no to solving everything for them, or declining to stay up late just because they need you. This isn't cold-heartedness, it's self-sovereignty. When you say, "I need a maximum of an hour to talk each night," or "I need alone time this weekend," you are affirming that you deserve your own space. And a partner who truly respects you will not demand that you cross your own line. Setting boundaries is also about communicating gently yet clearly. For example, rather than reacting with, "Why don't you say you love me?" you can say, "I wanted to share that I'm feeling some distance, to create pressure, but to tell you I'm here. It would mean a lot if you could listen for 15 minutes. I appreciate it when you're present." That message conveys respect for them and for yourself. It says you're stable, and you deserve being held without adding burden. Balance means maintaining a relationship rhythm where both of you have breathing space, yet remain connected. You don't push, you don't abandon. You hold your core steady amid their fluctuations. And from that steady ground, they begin to sense this relationship feels worth exploring, not because they have to, but because they want to, from a place of safety you cultivated. And when all these elements align, boundary, consistency, mutual respect, the true nature of avoidant love emerges. It's not about molding a person into your idea, rescuing them, or fixing them. Instead, it's about allowing them to be fully seen and loved as they are, while preserving yourself fully as well. Avoidant love isn't about changing who they are. It's about accepting their pacing, their ownership of themselves, and traveling alongside them. You're not stuck chasing. You're not sacrificing yourself for fear of abandonment. You remain whole, clear, present, deeply valued. And in doing so, you reframe your relationship into a shared journey of choice, not rescue. It becomes subtle but powerful, a soft strength anchored in respect, one that doesn't demand they choose to stay. Gradually, this calm reliability, your gentle boundaries, and rooted self-respect will open the door for them, not because they're forced, but because they've been invited into safety. That is how someone with avoidant attachment can love, not when coerced, but when welcomed home. That is how you can love them without giving up yourself. And ultimately, that is love, not to manufacture closeness, but to nurture it. In the end, loving someone with an avoidant attachment style isn't the easiest path. But if you're brave enough not to force connection, and wise enough not to lose yourself trying to win their love, this becomes one of the most profound journeys you can take, not just to understand them, but to deeply understand yourself. This is where you learn to recognize love not only in words or loud gestures, but in quiet, consistent actions, where you stop measuring affection by texts or calls, and start feeling it through presence and steadiness, where you stop overperforming just to be chosen, and instead choose yourself, your peace, your self-worth, your grounded heart. Avoidant love doesn't mean there's no love, it means it's expressed in ways many don't recognize. And if you can learn that language, if you can show up with patience and boundaries, not only can the relationship survive, it can help you grow stronger, calmer, and more centered from the inside out. This isn't a plea to accept being deprived. This is an invitation to love mindfully, with limits, so you don't lose yourself in old wounds. So instead, you become a source of healing for yourself, and for them, if they are ready to grow too. Remember, love isn't about winning someone over. It's about returning home to yourself and sharing that peace with someone who is ready to meet you there. And if you're already walking that path today, be proud, because you are loving like a grown soul.